no! I was not ready. I was like, okay, I'm almost ready. And then I was like, oh no, fuck, I forgot to open the fucking game. Not only that, I forgot to fucking connect my fucking controller. Very professional. How are we doing today? I'll be honest, I am a bit stressed, but it's fine. I'll be fine for streaming. But just some things happened today that I was just like not prepared for. My mom just calling me just like, hey, I'm coming over to you now. There are gonna be some guys coming over in like 30 minutes to look at your washing machine, and I'm like, oh, right. Fuck. Where the fuck is the greatest turn? There we go. Thank you. God, I'm a mess. Yeah, I understand that you're tired. Okay, at least now I got the game open. I'm also very excited for this part. Yeah, sometimes you just need more than 30 minutes of like a heads up. It was fine though. I had like things planned out in my head. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go and pick up like all of the fucking garbage I have around the house or whatever. That was like my plans for today. And then my mom showed up and I was just like, well, okay. But she did most of that for me. So I'm very grateful for that. So I was actually kind of productive today, I guess. And turns out my washing machine that I ranted about like the other day, my fucking bipolar washing machine, yeah, no, it's not supposed to make that many clicks. It's just supposed to click like one times. One times. One times. Maybe that's why it's confused, because it heard one times, and but it's like, okay, you said one, but times. That means it's plural. So yeah. Yeah, it's only supposed to click like one time for when it like locks and opens the door, I guess. It's not supposed to just like fucking scream at you in clicks. It's not supposed to be like maybe it thinks it's multiplication one time. Yes. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, there's some things that are wrong. The guys that were here were saying it was the lock, but there's also something else that I don't know what the fuck is. Let me just Google it real quick. I don't even have the fucking guide open. Not that I use the guide really, not much. But I'd usually just use it if I'm getting tired and I'm just like, how much is left of this part? Which, by the way, I haven't actually looked at how long this investigation part is. Wait. No. Huh? I'm confused now. Hold on. What? Are we back to the trial? I thought it was investigation. What? Well, I guess... I'll fucking go back to court, I guess. They're just changing the fucking... I thought it was the investigation, but apparently, like, that part we did last time, that was the investigation. Huh? That's so strange. I, like, literally just looked at it, and it was just like, hey, you're on SS Grouse. No, wait, there's more. Wait, I'm confused. I don't know. I'm so confused now. The more I'm looking at it, this is not... I don't know. It seems like there's something more, but there also doesn't. So I'm really, really confused. It's really strange that they put those two together in that case, in the guide. Anyways, I was gonna look up the fucking thing that they need. Hold on. I see. My mom was making a joke. That's what was up. She was like making a joke about the washing machine's pituitary gland, I guess. Something like that, anyway. Or if it actually has like a part, I don't know. I don't know what my mom meant. But she meant something. I think she said it as a joke. I don't know what will be the quote-unquote pituitary gland of a washing machine. But sure. Because they were saying it was the lock and just a lock not being able to register that if it's been locked or not. Because here is like the SS Grouse thing, and then it says the small component, the thing that we found inside of the trunk where Judge Chikuku was hiding. The small component is entered into the court record, and this ends the current mystery. At least nothing major was wrong, but it also didn't do like the centrifuge thing. Like it didn't really do that very well. Like I tried putting on like a wash today because they were fucking messing with it anyways, so I was like, well, I guess I have to do laundry now. And I put on the washing machine for like a 15-minute program. I was just like, I'm just gonna do like a short one. I don't care anymore. I'm tired. And I also put on the dishwasher like 2 minutes later. So there was supposed to be like a 2-minute difference between them, with the washing machine being faster, right? Anyways, the dishwasher finished first. And it was stuck on like the washing machine was stuck on like 2 minutes for like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so. And we were just like waiting for it to do like the centrifuge thing, but it just didn't want to do it. It refused to do it. And then suddenly, after I don't know how many minutes, it still said 2 minutes left, by the way. It finally decided, you know what? I'm gonna centrifuge the shit out of this. And I'm like, okay, sure. So that was strange. So I guess we'll just have to find out. I'll get my new parts on April 11th, so excited for that. Oh my god, by the way, I just realized. Oh boy, I feel so old. My birthday is in 1 week. Like literally 1 week from now. My birthday. And I turned 25! What the fuck? It just feels surreal. Like, I have no problem with like being older or whatever. But it just feels surreal. strangest thing. And I think I've said it before, but like I told my mom earlier this year that I turned 25 this year and she didn't believe me. And I was just like, no, I do turn 25. I do indeed turn 25. Though I do understand how you feel. Yeah. Anyways, let's just get into the game, shall we? Alright. So. See, it says here investigation part 1. Did you see I changed the name of the stream, by the way? Like 2 times. I was like, The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Huh? How? As they refused to believe that my brother was turning 19? Hold on. So, I thought we found out last time that it took like 20 hours to get to fucking Dunkirk. Love the stream title. Thank you. I worked very hard on it. But how? They just popped on over 20-ish hours. Yeah, it depends on how fast the steamship is. But this isn't, it hasn't been 20 hours. It's been like, what, maybe 6? What about like other ports? Dunkirk to fucking other ports in London or whatever. Or near London, I guess. Because it doesn't sit right with me. It just doesn't. Huh, okay. They're back already? Why is there a whole ass feast? Who made this feast? What is going on? We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikatober and I, no? You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. If it took them like 6 hours, then the steamship should have traveled at 81 kilometers per hour. And that was not possible in that time? So, this prosecutor Asogi you had on the ropes. Had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo! I mean, it's incredible. To think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Yeah, why didn't he just say that before? Because they used this as proof that he was in France. Like, bitch, just say you had someone in France who saw him there. Something like that if you don't want to fucking give yourself away. Though, I mean, I would fucking want to talk to this person who allegedly saw him in France. But like, literally, that changed everything. I was so angry up until that point. I was like, oh, well, just fucking say that then. Say that you saw him there. Say that you were there with him. But no. Dumb. Also, it still doesn't make sense, but whatever. Whatever. The people who made this didn't really think of old traveling times, I guess.
Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse.
When all this started, almost a year ago now. Mr. Schaum still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie.
Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Now it is another country, Mr. Schaums. So, what news of Judge Jigoku?
We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him.
Ah, yes. I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home.
What is it?
Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday.
You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well.
Oh, you've had a reply already.
What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Do you remember what time the game said that it was? Right now, it's like... November 3rd. But before this, I have no clue. $8:07. That's right now, anyway. And I don't know. But it says that evening, so it has to be like the same day. So it has to be like physically fucking impossible. I don't know how they got back here so soon. Okay. On Tuesday's stream. I mean, I also called it yesterday for some reason. It's really confusing to a brain. What did they say? What time was it when we were like investigating as them in on the SS Grouse? It was 8 hours. So they travel at 60 kilometers per hour. But boats travel in knots, don't they? I mean, what's the difference? You can still fucking convert it to kilometers per hour. But still. It's like knowing how fast it went in knots. You can know if any boats at that time were able to travel that fast. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to aim at here. 33 knots, okay. Was that physically possible back then? Or like a steamship or whatever.
Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Steamers that operated at the end of the 1880s could sail at 9 knots. So no, they could not. If it was a steamship, anyway. I don't know if any other boats could have done that faster. Yeah, I think it's just like a case of people not fact-checking this enough. I mean, to be fair, this would be like the thing I would fucking fact-check for hours. But it's also the thing that I would just investigate so much, I would just grow tired of it and just lose all of my motivation. So, you know,
good news, because supper is ready, everyone. Ah, and what a feast it is. If I were on the wise side, I'd think the trial would have won already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire, sorry. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case.
The SS Grasp was a Russian steamship. Yeah, but like if there were any other boats, they could have just like hitched a ride in or something. I don't know.
In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well. Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there. Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's study.
About that. For me.
That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey.
Professor Mickey. I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you.
It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean.
What? But... You're not... I'm so confused! What the fuck? Oh! Iris, do you mean...
Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened to into the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left.
What? Oh no. Sholmes is fucking out. He's like, oh fuck, I fucked up. The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. Okay. I knew she did that. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Who the fuck is it then? Is it just fucking Sholmes?
Yes, about that, Iris. You know,
What should be fucking Genshin? That would be fucking hilarious. That would be so funny. Help, that will be hilarious.
I know. You can't tell me at the moment.
Oh, Iris.
The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
She is the real professor's child. Ooh. No, that's quite alright.
And why don't I get any other apologetic pheasant?
So, just who is Iris's father? I mean, considering they're so fucking secretive about it, it has to be like something to do with the professor, right? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today.
So then, let us dine while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot.
A fine idea, Sholmes. It looks absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds.
This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan, and about Kazuma. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Maybe she's Clint's kid? Look at him! Barack would have known. Yeah. I need to take a screenshot of this. Look at him! He is so upset he can't have any pheasant. Oh my god. That's so funny. Please help. It looks like he's sulking and I'm here for it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Roast beef, kipper, stew, steak, and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. It all looks mouth-wateringly good.
Indeed it does. And if it were accompanied by even a morsel of pheasant, it would be a perfection.
You're still on that? Listen, if you ask me, Kotoba, I'm sure he will fucking share, like, at least a little piece with you.
Oh, it really does look like a feast for celebrating a victory in court. Or, indeed, for drowning one's sorrows after defeat. I hope you weren't referring to the trial tomorrow, Mr. Sholmes.
He's clearly still in mourning over the pheasant at the moment. Just it's so funny. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me.
Nevertheless, oh, he doesn't even want to share.
I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer.
Mr. Sholmes? Could I discuss some things with you?
Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt. You're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game. Love of game.
I can probably contain my curiosity on that one.
You needn't look at me in that fashion.
In what fashion?
It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpleasant matters to discuss.
You funny man. Telegram, tell me. So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then?
Ah, this. I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
What? Those 4 names? We've come across that same list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. Shown Swagger when she finds out who her dad is. He might be your father, but he ain't your dad. K. Asogi, A. Shin, D. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now?
Yes! Where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names, need by tomorrow. Naruhodo.
Sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature.
You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you.
And in my name. I wonder what guise he opted for this time.
My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand.
Anyway, a list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was...
It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient.
You don't believe it?
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it.
Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Okay. Interesting. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria. It was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie.
I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost.
Alright. What?
I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Mr. Sato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean? The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant should be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Isogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least.
Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Why?
Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England?
Terms of a study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Isogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. You require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
There's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
So, you manipulated me?
I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man.
I can never quite grasp if Sholmes is extremely smart or hella dumb. Yeah. Hecka dumb, sorry.
I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend.
I don't believe it.
But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought.
Refuge. I seem to remember Mr. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her.
Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure.
I wonder if she made it to America then.
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. Oh! An omen that at this very moment in time is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago. Is close at hand? We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. I assume we have to show him something. Or we have to, like... Maybe the omen is the lack of pheasant. I am so confused. A year ago, the McCrispus case? Would it? Do we have anything relating to McCrispy then? I mean, I guess it would be this. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched, so you obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year in fact, when you were both still in Japan. Huh? It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes, when he hasn't designs on knowing it. Oh my! Mr. Sholmes! What a fabulous line! You're breaking the law, my guy! Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names because, you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased. What? Who? A. Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Mrs. Sashin, That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes.
Oh, I see.
But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list. Kei Asogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain.
Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead.
Exactly, but
I might understand that if Dr. Wilson was killed in Britain, but he wasn't. So you're just stopping it from happening in Britain.
So, you already knew who Kazama-sama was, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know.
Oh, Iris! Yeah, we kind of didn't tell you because we thought he was your father, but now it turns out he's not your father, and then neither is Mikotoba, so who the fuck is your father? I don't know, I'm just gonna assume you just suddenly existed. You're a fucking clone or something. You're
No, he wasn't my daddy. But still, that's very sad.
Iris, your existence is confounding me.
I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No.
But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis.
A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, yes, you mean about Asashin, I presume.
Oh, of course!
Exactly, she wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of the fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that had formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy.
What? Topsy? What do you mean when you say hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? Wait. There's no way. No, there's no way. There is no way these 4 names are also the names of the Reaper's assassins. There is no fucking way. I refuse to believe it. But like, if it's not that, what else is it? Why else are those 4 names together? They had a cooking club. And Judge Shigoku was very, very jealous. Because they just kept sharing top secret recipes between each other, and they never included him in anything. And he felt very ostracized. And he just wanted to join their cooking club. That's all. That's all. Sorry, I make myself laugh.
I had believed all 4 names on the list to be names of victims. However, I was mistaken.
Just wanted to make a souffle with friends. Very much so. Sashin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it?
Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front.
Ah.
Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions.
So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by a Sashin is because he was the target of an assassination. Hold on. Then how are you supposed to read this? Are you supposed to read this like top down? Like, Sashin killed John Wilson. And Kazuma killed Gregson? Is that how they want us to think this? And who is high up enough in the government to do a fake study tour? Could it be Strongheart, perhaps? You're so right, bestie. My god.
And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, does it not strike you there is another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student?
Wait, you mean...
But of course, a name you know only too well.
You mean... Kazuma? He did say in court earlier today. 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark.
Young Mr. Asogi has accepted that mission a year ago now.
Why? There must be a reason.
Surely not.
Blackmail! It's blackmail! It's fucking blackmail! Fuck this, my god.
In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts.
But why not have Kazuma kill Wilson and Shin kill Gregson? No fake study tour or other things needed. I don't know. They just love making things complicated, I guess.
An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange.
An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have got involved in something like that?
Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange.
But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo. The British assassin at least escaped conviction. Thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Yeah, now she's dead. Didn't really help her much, did it? Oh, yes. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our 2 countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. Could it possibly be Lord Strongheart? The highest levels. These murders have two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That disassociation, and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. Wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you were suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jikoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. What? Cosmo was here for Gregson? So Judge Jikoku wasn't actually the mark. Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. They never were in France, were they? I was fucking right! I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously. With a young pickpocket in tow. Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. That he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. Now you remember! But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. Why Gregson?
Right, everyone. That's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time!
Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. Well, no, wait. I haven't looked at this thing. You see these little things all over the place, don't you? It's the part on the top of a pocket watch that you twist to set the time, isn't it? It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one. Fuck, that proper proves that they were there, don't they? Doesn't it? A crown, like what sits on top of a monarch's head? That's a very grand name for such a tiny part, but actually... Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? If this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here somewhere with a very bare head. By monarch, you mean pocket watch, and I'm quite sure you have. Wait. I think with this we can actually prove that he wasn't in France. Right? Because Judge Jikoku, he just found it somewhere, right? What's the story of this thing? God, I don't remember. Where's the fucking watch? There it is. Feel sure I know exactly what will fit here. I was just thinking precisely the same thing. You're about to see that little round component. It's actually part of Inspector Gregson's broken pocket watch. Really? I was just thinking precisely that too. Perfect fit! I knew it! Yeah, the crown was in his suitcase, but why was it there? Alright, perhaps you knew it. I'll make a note of this new information at once. I know it was found in his suitcase. But was it just there, or did he bring it there? I don't know. This has certainly been a night to remember.
Tis a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister.
I'm sorry, Iris.
I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Rudo to the floor. Yes, of course. It will be my pleasure.
You didn't have to agree quite so readily.
Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother.
Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well.
Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. I was about to say.
Right. I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now. Because it's for my big brother and sister.
So cute, please. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh.
Good luck in court.
Good luck in court tomorrow.
I'm expecting a sterling performance.
I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths whilst posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram by Judge Jikoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. I can't help but feel that Genshin Impact actually wrote his real testament, put it in his sword, which then became Kazuma's. Kazuma found that and found out what had actually happened to his father. And the only opportunity he had to go to Britain was this quote-unquote study tour, I guess. And this, it feels too obvious. Right? It almost seems staged, one could say. I'm not saying that his death is staged, but I'm saying that Kazuma killing Gregson, staged. I am pretty sure he just did it to just oh no, where could he have gone? Oh no, he's dead. Oh look, this is the final thing that's left of him or something. Just the trunk, and with the cut and the fucking piece of the blade in the trunk. Why would you hit a trunk? I mean, I guess if he's lifting it up to protect himself, sure, fine, whatever. But no, I feel like Kazuma's clever. He has a plan. Right? Not me just being in fucking denial, just no, Kazuma would never, alright? Kazuma... But it doesn't make sense, right? And then there's the whole thing about him showing up with his fucking memory gone. And Strongheart just being like, I'm gonna just place you with Barack Van Steeks for a while. Which I guess would actually place him closer to Gregson, right? It's either Strongheart or Jigoku. Jigoku fucking ran, alright? Like, that's also really fucking sus. Like, hello? I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Stop, I'm gonna cry. Damn, that was so short. This makes it look like he has 2 loving dads and 2 sisters. I mean... Oh, why not? Okay. Trial! Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice. And the discovery that the respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with your resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end. Resolve, yes, that's my intention. My lord, if I may inquire, the defendant may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Sogi permitted to continue in his role as prosecutor? You got a point. He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. Did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has all been leading up to this 1 day. Kazuma, whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper. Kazuma's bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're heading into very dangerous territory. Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us? As an extreme exception to normal practices, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume. Yes, my lord. Stop with the fucking unicorn, I hate it so much. In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Baroque van Zeeks. The defense is ready, my lord. And the prosecution is more than ready. Very well, this preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Asogi, begin. As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Bring Sei Shirojigoku into the courtroom. At last then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now in order to get to the truth. Come on, Ryunosuke. It's time for that steely resolve, because this is going to test it to the limit. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Ah, so it was you who issued this, was it? Your subpoena. I did what was necessary. Well, look what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you would take that tone with me, I must say. The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. My name is Sei Shirojuku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan. 16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. I am of course fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. We chat on the daily. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country, did you now? I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Ah, it was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my all into that treaty. Judge Jigoku, I must ask. Well, I never. Fancy the young murdering student turning up here of all places. You acquitted me yourself. And now I'm a practicing defense lawyer. Yes, and full of self-importance like your friend across the courtroom, I see. You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France. Took flight? I'd have to object to that turn of phrase. Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances? Well, I was somewhat expecting this. And I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment. What? Of course you do. Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette. But my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify. Really now? Unrelated, you say? Appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. I appreciate? I know what you mean, but that just sounds kind of funny. I appreciate that he has been killed, but... However, being an alien, I'd obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. As such, I am in no position to testify. It's as simple as that. So you would run from all this? I beg your pardon? This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now. A year ago in Japan? The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson, you mean? That's right. And you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end too. Let's see your evidence then. What proof do you have that Seishiro Jigoku is involved in this case? I mean...
Take that!
What on earth is that? Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, fine. Fine. That was my second fucking guess. They don't have to be all sassy about it, right? It's the fucking telegram. Fucking hell. This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. Let's get something to drink real quick. The communication contained 4 names. Kei Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. You lil what? Oh, Yangi. Did you get that? In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jigoku. What on earth did you... What's that all about? Why is my name on that list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. Kei Asogi and A. Shin are the names of assassins. No. A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brett, but her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain. A. Shin and her victim, J. Wilson. And the murder that took place here in London was the counterpart of that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson. Kei Asogi and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other. What exactly is the defense suggesting? These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. And the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you. Judge Jigoku, what's this all about? And you, Kazuma, you lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you'd accepted the assassination mission. But the mark wasn't Judge Jigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on the killing contract. Strongheart sitting there like, oh fuck, how did they find that out? Right? Because there's no one else. Who else would be the fucking... the British mastermind if it's not fucking Strongheart, right? Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you. You deliberately avoided saying a name. defense claims these four names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself? His silence only goes to prove its guilt.
There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was in the witness cabin aboard the SS Grouse.
Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse would put you in contempt of court. Hello, Breeze. There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then, as a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know. It seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear. About the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of the 31st of October. Present your formal testimony now. As you wish, my lord. It's true that Kazuma Sogi was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was a condition of the British study tour. Why? However, in the end something happened that meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there had been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved. So you admit it then? As this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan. A political endeavor at the highest levels, not something I can discuss here.
To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder. It's the most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Appalling? Well, it's easy to judge.
Pardon?
Sogi had a reason for taking his sword to that British inspector, you know. What? Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel? Wasn't it because of Gregson that his father got, like, accused of murder? Sorry, not there. Here. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy procedure. It all relates back to his father anyway. Strongheart must have known. Remember how he kept commenting on, but do you know what Kazuma meant with fulfilled my goal? Yeah, like... He's really not good at being subtle, is he? He's like a fucking toddler trying to keep a secret. Kazuma-sama... Judge Jigoku, if you are the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain. I'm not obliged to divulge that information. As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case. The crucial point is this. Your police inspector can't have perished aboard that steamship in Dunkirk. Because if he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it. That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London, in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Barak van Zieks. The prosecution's accusation remains unchanged. To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such dealings. But there was a security drill, right? Yeah. Clearly, it's a plot only a government minister and high-ranking judge such as the witness could hope to execute. High-ranking, you say? Interesting. Interesting. Like I said, he's like a fucking toddler trying to keep a secret. What? Someone high-ranking. I wonder. There is no way it's like the fucking British judge, because we don't even know his fucking name. He's not a character in the fucking game. Like, he's not even here. If he was here, then yeah, sure, I'll be more inclined to believe that, but he's not. Out of these characters, the one that most likely? Strongheart. Well, I seem to recall that it was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. No, because that would put you in danger, wouldn't it? We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, counsel? Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. Someone on the British side who was controlling everything and who loves controlling things? Strongheart. Evening question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin. If there had been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved.
Objection!
There we go. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Jigoku's cabin. However, we can be sure that contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. Where did you get that? In your waste bin? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember. Herlock Sholmes again. According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m., and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse were to gather on deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts. And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Judge Jigoku, you had ample opportunity to commit the crime. You're pointing the wrong way, my guy. A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Ryunosuke. But it amounts to nothing. Why? Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin. Unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false. What do I have, even? God fucking damn it! Sholmes, why didn't you take a picture for me? Anything? Your accusation is nothing more than conjecture. Very true. Well, counsel. Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it. Because the defense has the evidence to prove it. You will present the evidence for the defense at once, counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in Jigoku's cabin on the 31st of October? That's this, right? Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday. That unicorn needs to be yeeted out from court. What is that? The crown of a pocket watch. Pocket watch. And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part. Can't be. Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill. In the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku. Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, you young murderer? Again, you're pointing the wrong way, my guy. Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. And your argument sounds entirely plausible. At first. But rather like this pocket watch. It's full of cracks. What? And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year. Sorry? If I'd known that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world your ridiculous bombast. Okay, fine, whatever. I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll notice the pitfall into which you've stumbled. Prior to your new testimony, I would like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge he was there, I presume. Yes, I do. Very well then. You may proceed to give your formal testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the ship on the evening of the 31st of October. Of course, as a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took care of him with an ippon seoi throw though. He couldn't wait to run away after that. I imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder. The inspector was clearly killed having returned to Britain, because his body was found in London. Ippon seoi. A common jujutsu material arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch to take. So it just miraculously landed inside of your trunk? Judge Jutsu! Stop! So, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I imagine you can see the flaw in your logic now, can't you? What? The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves that the victim's murder took place there. No doubt the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not the Reaper's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell. I may express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. But if this testimony holds, Judge Jigoku will be deemed to have had no involvement in the case. Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time here on cross-examination. There was a bullet hole which Sholmes did not take a picture of. That himbo. Sorry, my lord. The defense has a right to cross-examine, and I don't intend to squander that. You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten. No, you bitch. In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo. It says it was found in his cabin. Can't you say it was found in a fucking trunk? As much as I like this case, there are too many things that don't make sense. Like the fucking notice board falling over. How the fuck would that even be physically possible? Sorry, I'm going back to that. I already ranted enough about that when we first were introduced to it. But there is no way that it just being slammed into by the fucking door would open it. I don't have a fucking picture of it here, I guess. There is no way it would fucking get hit by the door and then fall over. Because of the fucking legs. They're too high up. The door wouldn't even fucking clear the legs. It would fucking hit them. Or maybe it would clear the legs, but even then, it would just get stuck under the door, so it wouldn't be able to fall forward anyway. So I don't understand what they want us to believe with that. And no one fucking questioned it. Like, maybe if it got the momentum like further up, but it didn't. It couldn't have. It's physically impossible. Maybe if it was like already fucking on the way to fucking teeter over. Maybe. But there is no proof that it was fucking propped up like that. So, no. And then there's a whole fucking issue with them just fucking taking steamships willy-nilly that just take like fucking 8 hours or something. When, in reality, at the time, we've concluded it would take at least 20 hours. And I'm still fucking angry at this. This drives me insane. I swear to God. Like it said, he was going to France within 1 week from 31st of October. Mind you, on the 31st of October, that ship that he was going on, SS Grouse, was already in Dunkirk, waiting to go to Britain. How the fuck would he manage to get on that ship, go to Dunkirk, and then go back again? Huh? What is the... what? Who fact-checked this? It's all over the place, and I can't follow it. It doesn't make a single bit of sense. And they tried to use this as fucking proof that he was in France. When he got this, when the boat was in France, and it said he was going to France 1 week from the 31st of October, when the boat was already in France. He couldn't have gotten on the boat because it was in France. It had come from Japan to France, and the next stop was Britain. And they're trying to tell us, no, he was in France. Huh? How? How is this proof that he was in France? And then Kazuma's like, oh, actually, no, we were there together. And also said that the permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel, and that one additional person was him. No? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. He was gonna be on the ship when it returned. Different boat, isn't it? No, it's not. Because in his notebook, he had written down SS Grouse. Or he had written down Grouse anyway. Which, Van Siegs had misconstrued it to be the Gentleman's Club, aka strip club, I guess. So, which is kind of funny because why does he know about a fucking strip club? Okay, sure, go off, I guess. Not once do they mention it's a different boat. Not once. They're talking about SS Grouse the entire time. It's always been about SS Grouse. It's never been about any other fucking boat. Even now, like, fucking at the end of the last part, not the last part, of the last trial part, I should say. Somehow, Sholmes and Mikotoba had gone to Dunkirk on SS Grouse, and somehow they managed to get from Dunkirk and back in like 8 hours, when that boat was going the opposite direction. And there was no mention of this at all. It was just glossed over, and that fucking trip would have taken at least 20 hours during this time. So things just don't make sense, and it's infuriating. I'm so done with this fucking case because the fact checkers, either there is a reason why there are so many discrepancies, or they just fucking sucked in this. And I don't know. If this was for like earlier, which means he would have to take like a boat to Dunkirk, that's fine. I would have been fine with it, but it doesn't. That's not what this says. It says after. And it has to be after because of where the fucking boat was at the time where this is fucking valid or whatever. You can't just get to Dunkirk when it's already in Dunkirk. That's not how this works. And it says destination was Dunkirk. I'll die on this hill. Fuck, I'll press whatever. This story. Because if you think about it, whenever you drop a teacup in the office and it breaks, we don't say Mr. Naruhodo must have been murdered there, do we? Is that a veiled threat about what might happen to me if I break another one? Inspector Gregson's body was found in the little room on Fresno Street. If he really was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin, the body would have had to be moved somehow, obviously. Transporting a dead body over a country border. It will be impossible for the majority of people. There must have been some special circumstances that made it possible for the culprit then. Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door had just let your killer pass, you mean? Apparently, Gregson told the crewman he was a police inspector, which was the truth, of course. He wouldn't have had his identification with him, though. He had his trench coat and a mustache, and not to mention the bag of chips. Imagine the crewman was convinced. But the man accompanying him would have had two swords slung around his waist. You mean me? Who else? Yes, that's true. Would have hoped the sight of a few swords might have set off alarm bells in the guard's head. Point is, I left the cabin before its occupant returned, and I immediately disembarked the ship. Certainly all I can tell you is that only the inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back at my cabin. You disembarked the ship? Okay, what is the fucking timeline here? I'm so fucking confused. Where was the boat at this point in time? Was this in Dunkirk? Or was this in fucking Dover or wherever the fuck the fucking boat goes from? You entered without any inkling of suspicion. That's right, none whatsoever. Hold it! Obviously you're talking about Inspector Gregson. Yes, though at the time I didn't know the man's name. And there was no time for introductions. I value my life over manners. By which you mean that the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose. It was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing in my direction. But I've never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in my life. Anyone would think the man had never shot somebody before. Believe it or not, most of us haven't. Anyway, there was no time to call for the help of the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself. Even though the man had a gun, that's a very brave move, wasn't it? My Ipponseo is far faster than a bullet, I can assure you. I don't think that's how it works. But surely all the commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it? Yes, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow, and just managed to slip past him to make his escape. The outstanding guard does it again. Luckily, there aren't many situations I can't get out of using a quick Ipponseo throw. Throw. The crown snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to the man's head being pulled off, or his spine cracking, wouldn't you say? Not that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon saw to that. But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that a murder took place. Absolutely not! All the watch proves is the power of my jujutsu throw. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in the cabin. Because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. What are you talking about? That's what the star of your lowbrow detective stories told you, is it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Haven't you worked it out yet, you little stripling? No murder took place in my cabin. See, this is what I mean, Shoms. You need to take a fucking picture. Hold it. But there's no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive. Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling. What? If the inspector was killed on the steamship in France, how on earth could he have got back to Britain? When people die, their bodies remain at the same spot. It's a devil of a thing. Well, then obviously the culprit must have moved the body. How exactly? Carrying a corpse off a ship in your arms would raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think? Well, yes, that's true, but... Well, passenger luggage is inspected when it is unloaded from arriving vessels. And I would like to think the border police would query the corpse of an English gentleman as hand luggage. the murder had taken place aboard the ship, you would imagine the body would have been disposed of at sea. There would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transport the body back to Britain. Let's kill that idea then.
But perhaps not.
Miss Susato?
We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea.
Yes, that's true. But transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative. Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can't understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony, with your consent, of course, my lord. Okay, no objection. State your amended testimony now. There's no possible way I could have transported the victim's corpse back to Britain.
Hold it!
There's an idea. Think about it, stripling. All passengers and crew disembarked at the same time and passed through the same checks at the border. The symposium guests were then driven straight to the hotel in carriages organized by the ministry.
We met you as soon as you arrived at the hotel.
So you did. Well then, remind me, did I have a corpse over my shoulder at the time? What? No! So we're in agreement then. I couldn't possibly have brought the inspector's body back to Britain. Unless, of course, I've developed some clever device these days to instantly move things from A to B. Funny you should say that.
Professor Limone's invention didn't actually work, if you remember, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, of course. The defense has become unusually quiet, I notice. Yes, because there's really nothing more to say. Okay, I see. But he had his fucking... the trunk. Ah, the trunk!
Objection!
There's no possible way you could have moved Inspector Gregson's body, you say? I would say the opposite is true. What's that supposed to mean? Far from being impossible for you to do. The transporting of Inspector Gregson's body back to Britain is something only you could do. Only you could do. What are you talking about, Ryunosuke? As well as being a judge, Mr. Juku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. We learned that when we first met you upon your arrival in London. All those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. Must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. I presume you recall this, Judge Chikuku. It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark the occasion. As the court will note, you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside. We know. Because that's where you were hiding.
Mr. Naruhodo, surely you're not suggesting...
I'm afraid I am, yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with the new arrivals from Japan in the hotel, the body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jigoku's trunk. Oh, I'm skeptical, Counsel. that a grown man's body could fit inside even the largest travel trunk. It could. Because I happen to know that the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside his trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple, wouldn't it, Judge Jigoku?
But inside his trunk? How horrifying!
And after we'd spoken with you at the Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene on Fresno Street, taking your trunk with you in a cab to deposit the inspector's body. I don't have to listen to this nonsense. Dr. Gori, the coroner who examined the body, has confirmed the possibility. She's acknowledged there are signs that steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in a refrigerator. Counsel, as I remember explaining yesterday, refrigerators of the requisite size are few and far between. Yes, I'm sure they are, but one place they're certainly found is on large ocean liners. Such ships are equipped with electrically refrigerated cold rooms to keep food fresh on their long sea voyages. And the SS Grouse is no exception. Professor Mikotoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jigoku? However much you prolong this debate, you can't eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer. Well, this is all very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move, letting Asogi and you embark on this study tour. What are you talking about now? Logical reasoning, of course. All court proceedings will be built on logical reasoning in the new century. And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already.
Judge Jigoku, please, stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. The defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond?
Respond? There's really no need for me to respond, is there?
Why ever not?
Because before you can even begin to answer the question of when the victim's killed, you must first establish one key fact. Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical. The actual scene of the crime. The prosecution's stance is unaltered. The killing took place on Fresno Street when the gunshot was heard. As the accused, Barak van Ziek, shot the victim at point-blank range. But didn't... We literally went through this! The fucking gunshot or whatever was the fucking firecracker! Are you just changing? This is giving me a fucking headache. Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at this time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than an elaborate fairy tale. I mean, I guess we can't really prove it, but still. Sorry, I forgot to read the fucking second line of Kazuma as the accused Barak van Ziek shot the victim at point-blank range. Yet no bullet was found. Strange, huh? I'm afraid that's how the logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling. The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly. I'm afraid it's the prosecution's claim that's the only fairy tale here. How can you say that? Quite simply, because that claim directly contradicts a certain piece of evidence in our possession. It has to be the fucking... What's it called? Firecrackers. Very tantalizing, counsel. I think you had better explain yourself to the court, don't you? The prosecution claims that Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. But this evidence clearly contradicts that claim. The fastest steamship in 1850 could go 13 knots. The fastest ship in 1900 could go 23 knots. Nowhere near the speed of whatever magical boat they took. I love how you're still fucking researching this. Like, there is no way you can fucking get to Dunkirk and just like immediately get on like the fucking next boat back to Britain. Or if you did, you would have to go before the 31st anyway. There's no way you could go on the 31st. Maybe that's what they're fucking implying. That they went there on the 31st, got there on the 31st, and then got on the ship? I don't fucking know. I don't know what they're fucking claiming anymore. I'm so fucking lost. But there has to be a reason why there are so many fucking dumb discrepancies like that, and they're just fucking glossing over them completely. And Naruhodo is fucking too dumb to realize. There has to be a fucking reason. Right? They feel too obvious. Okay, we already went through that. It's not that.
Take that!
No, fuck, I didn't mean to click that. It bothers me. Whatever happened makes no sense. Even if they were on the fastest boat at that time, it would have taken them at least 20 hours, plus the time from Dover to London. Yeah. And they're like, no! 8 hours. Yeah, I know I fucked up. I don't care. I accidentally fucking hit the % button. I hate how you fucking gotta sit through this. And Dover to London is another 2 hours with modern trains. With modern trains. So they really claim it took like fucking 5 hours or something. That he died instantly. Do we have anything that contradicts that? That he died instantly. I was hoping that would give me something new, but it didn't. He needed this document for his trip to France. Can I think of any evidence that would work? Yeah, right? Fuck it, I'll look it up. Okay, that's fucking weird, but whatever.
Take that!
Photograph of the victim and the very location you claim he wasn't killed. Yes, but the point is, the posture of the body itself. If Inspector Gregson had been shot there in that room, it's out of the question that his body would have been curled up into a ball like that. Sorry to disappoint you, but your logic is flawed. You could easily have adopted that fetal position due to the pain of the shot which subsequently proved fatal.
Objection.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Judge Jikoku, but it's your logic that is flawed. What? According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less have been able to draw himself into that position. Okay, that's fair. Which begs the question of why the victim's body is curled up in that way. Though the answer should be abundantly clear by now. That does make sense, yeah. Who's suggesting? The inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street, before it was coldly turned out on the floor, from the inside of a large travel trunk. You're quite right! The shape of the body! It looks exactly as if it had been kept in a confined space. Judge Jiguku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very possible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood. Sent my trunk. I refuse. What? On what grounds? I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Empire of Japan. That is how the crown came to be in there. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I still... Just the fact that he was killed when the fucking boat was in France or whatever is just so stupid. Like, literally, if the passport said, like, from within 1 week from, like, 30th or 29th, I'd be fine with it. Because that would actually give him time to get to Dunkirk first. I shouldn't have to put up with this treatment just because of some stripling's baseless accusations. In other words, Judge Jiguku, there is blood in your trunk. I decline to answer that. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privileges that... At this moment, you're not a government minister. You're a witness in a trial in Britain's highest court. I don't care who you are or what your status outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold information. Nothing is more important than the truth. Did you notice he fucking hit his unicorn gavel at the, like, on beat with the music? That was kind of funny. Well, Mr. Jiguku, what's it to be? You can't be serious. You did it. Have you no shame at all, Kazuma Sogi? What? Very well, I admit it. I did bring the inspector's body into the country. Inside my trunk, exactly as postulated by the defense. What? Why are you shocked? Fucking Naruhodo like fucking lays out a fucking theory and then he gets shocked when it's proven to be correct. He's like, what? Are you serious now? I literally just pulled that out of my ass. Are you wow. What? So it was you! You admit to... No, I admit to nothing more than what I've said. Of killing the man, I certainly have no recollection. What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean? I merely disposed of the inspector's body, which was left in my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I had no chance to throw it into the ocean. So, I decided my only option was to bring it into Britain with me and dispose of it somewhere else. You can't still deny it! If you didn't do it, then who on earth did kill the man? As you know, there was one other person in my cabin that night. He had the opportunity. Which would be fucking Strongheart, that would be fucking hilarious. Moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take the inspector's life. That's right. Who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Sogi. You... I never thought you'd stoop to this, Seishiro Jiguku. You've taken the words straight out of my mouth, Prosecutor Kazuma Sogi. You thought by leaving the body in my cabin you could pin the crime on me, did you? Well, the prosecution counsel has already admitted to visiting the witness's cabin on the night in question. Yes, on an assassination mission, no less. You wouldn't. So, what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit to nothing more.
I don't believe this.
Counsel for the defense. What is your position now? The court awaits your response to the witness's assertion. The assertion that on the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Mr. Kazuma Asogi. This isn't the dead end it seems to be. The answer's right in front of me. It comes down to Jigoku, Kazuma. The only way for them to make it between London and Dunkirk is if they were on the fastest steamship of the century, which by the way was in America, so good luck, and traveled between Dunkirk and London, which no liner did at the time. So in any case, it's wrong. I love how you're doing so much fucking research. Where were you when they made this game? Obviously. Okay, I think we're like halfway through this fucking chapter, which is fine. No, actually, we're close to the end of this. Wah. Wah. Okay, here we go. Just don't want to spoil anything more for me. Jigoku or Kazuma? Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. And I'm just a step away from proving who. Neither. It's Strongheart. He was also there! Very well, the defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forward by Judge Jigoku. The idea that the victim's murder could have been committed by Prosecutor Asogi is impossible. Judge Jigoku, let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. You claim that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process. It is, no question. Well, logical reasoning can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Asogi to commit the crime. Court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. Of course you will. When it's from the defense. When it's the fucking prosecution, they can just say whatever the fuck they want. So, present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of Prosecutor Asogi's involvement? Unique serial number. First I can tell there's nothing like that on this gun. It must have been issued longer ago than that. Alright. That's new information that we didn't know before. Cosmo claimed that he went on the boat, then arrived in France and stayed at a boarding house. He's something with the signature in the guest book or something. Okay, yeah, but how do I, what is it? The drill took place after Cosmo left. Oh!
Take that!
This itinerary for crew members of the SS Grouse, my lord. This is conclusive proof. An itinerary. How does that prove anything? Judge Chikuku, the moment you acknowledged that you found the victim's body in your cabin, this itinerary suddenly became much more significant. What? Why? On the night in question, as always, a crewman's sentry was on guard outside your cabin door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin. Absolutely, because it's inconceivable that the guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate. So that tells us that the crime must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere. And that narrows it down to the 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock as indicated on the itinerary. Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far. But the crucial point is this. When the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Dunkirk. Now, clearly the murder could only have been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. The prosecutor Sogi stated in yesterday's proceedings. Didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. I guess we'll just have to assume they had fucking magical boats in this fucking universe. I don't know. Which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof that Kazuma Asogi couldn't possibly have carried out the killing. Gotcha, bitch. Oh, absolutely not. I don't accept that at all. What do you mean? The boy's just saying that to exonerate himself. We can't trust that he really disembarked the vessel. Obviously, after he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship. Just waiting for his chance to come back and... No, that's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma? As the defense rightly recalls, I disembarked the vessel and spent the night in a boarding house in Dunkirk. And as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify, and undeniable proof. There's no escape this time. You can't forget that you're a judge or a government minister. You can't forget. It's time you gave the court an honest answer as a common man. You killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it? Seishiro Jikoku. It was that damn trial 10 years ago. That's when all this began. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already. I'm sorry? Oh, he fucking destroyed the fucking... He destroyed the stand again. This is the second time. A British assassin to eliminate the professor in Japan. A Japanese assassin to eliminate the detective in Britain. Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade conviction and return safely to their homeland. The assassin exchange request arrived from Britain about 1 year ago. Though it was hardly a request, it was a demand. And for that, you decided to recruit Mr. Asogi. But things didn't go according to plan. Your chosen assassin never made it to Britain. This man's just straight up destroying that, right? And you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement. Because I was already on my way to Britain at that time in Cosmos Place. And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To eliminate the mark myself, personally. Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that. The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume. That's right. I decided it would be safest to carry out the plan before my arrival in Britain. So I enlisted the help of my British counterpart and made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk. To lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper. What? The Reaper? But there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. So, that means that the assassin exchange was... It was all planned by the Reaper! Strong-armed! I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and dutifully infiltrated my cabin on the steamship. But it was all a trap designed to lead him to France and his own death. It's either Strongheart or it's literally just the fucking queen. Oh, how awful! It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion, so I bided my time, waiting. For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock, I had intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, he suddenly came around and went for me in a reckless move. I'd received the British issue gun 16 years earlier, being a member of the judiciary as a visiting student. I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that. So, the revolver belongs to you, does it? Did it work? We're getting closer to the end. We're not at the end quite yet, but we're getting very close. Then the victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Grouse, which begs the question of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room on Fresno Street. The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. Oh, you changed your user from Science Nerd to yeah, it worked. You're Johnny Jr. Fan 100 now. I see you. There was no way I could take the body up on deck to throw it over the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. But before the first-class cabin sentries returned, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room. And then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police. And I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London. In that case, you must have known. You must have had intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule. Yes, my British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock that afternoon, in order to meet a man by the name of Q Boone, from whom he would take back his police identification. I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as the culprit. So I took a hackney carriage over there with the body still in my trunk. That must have been just after we took this photograph with you at the hotel then. Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling little firecrackers. Miss Venus, of course. I conceived of the candle trick there and then. So I donned a simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate the gunshot. What sort of disguise? For some reason, the inspector had a bright red hairpiece in his own traveling case. So I put that on, although I suspect I drew more attention to myself in that than I would have otherwise.
The hairpiece we found at the scene. The inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation.
I only arrived at the room at around 4:45, so I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. I arranged it so the firecrackers would go off with a bang around 15 minutes later. So that Mr. Boone, who was due to arrive at 5, would walk straight into a trap. Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder. Jigoku in that wig is a cursed image, right? What was that?
I imagine it was the bag of fish and chips.
I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room. I put it back into his pocket the following morning, but... well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish. Anyway, that's... And you didn't notice the fishy smell? That's everything, all the sordid details of what I did. And it still doesn't fucking line up, at least not in my head. I've heard enough. You arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty.
An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea.
Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? He already said he wasn't going to say the name. Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us! Tell us? Already told you that I cannot say. Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again. What are you waiting for? Can't we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson. Seishiro Jigoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found. May I remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this closed court. Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession, admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt.
Oh, wonderful! Well done, Mr. Naruhodo!
Strongheart just wants to get this finished before Jigoku says his name. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Is something wrong?
I'm just a little troubled by his silence. The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and his extraordinary assassin exchange. We do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in his trial, we have reached a conclusion. I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries. As a prosecutor. As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant, Baroque van Zieks.
Objection!
Not so fast! The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred. It's like... Counsel. The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all. And therefore, it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. That is the prosecution's unwavering position. His objection really does sound like that, right? It's so funny.
But Judge Jigoku has already confessed.
Nevertheless, Baroque van Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished. Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Ryunosuke. Certainly, the murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku. But it's clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot. Into this sick, merciless assassin exchange. That may be true, but... So what I want to know is, who coerced Jigoku? Who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France, having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. Yo, Undead Saints fan, hello! In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself. Well, certainly, that would appear to follow. The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Baroque van Zieks, being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt, beyond all reasonable doubt. Kazuma, no! Kazuma, no! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery, Counsel. Are you suggesting that you have some new information with which to build a case?
Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard. And they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he is the Reaper.
Perhaps, but circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself. Which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitively the man's identity. Yeah, someone fucking high in rank, like, I don't know, Lord Strongheart? Are they fucking pretending to be this dumb? Like, okay, I can kind of see why Kazuma is being kind of like cryptic right now. Because he can't, like, let Strongheart know that he's onto him. But I think Naruhodo is just this dumb. That is the prosecution's intention here. I must say I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name. You're guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. What does he believe? I don't know what he fucking believes. That explains Kazuma's silence before. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago. Or Kazuma just has it out for Baroque since he did condemn his father to death. That's true. That's true. But again, The prosecutor for that case was originally supposed to be Lord Strongheart, who just pushed that onto Barack. Like fucking last fucking minute. Come on, my guy. Very well. Whilst it's extremely irregular. Does Kazuma know that? I don't know. I don't know what he knows, but we know. I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has had with the Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely. I hereby declare this court to be in session for a supplementary hearing. Leggy up, let's go. Pray turn a blind eye to the discourtesy as I verify that this violent, unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice. Lord Van Zeeks! I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time I've endured the weight of implied guilt that's gone with it. So I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all. This bitch be dramatic, both Barak and Strongheart, yeah. Good. Then let justice decide, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness, in order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey. Barak's bitchiness is kind of justified. Yeah, I think so too. And what says the defense?
Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous. And Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment. He's not thinking logically.
You're right that he's not himself. But I knew it would be like this. And I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise. As a lawyer and as his friend.
Then that's what we must do.
The defense has no objection, my lord. Oof. Very well, defendant. You will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. As you wish, my lord. I've never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street on that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there is no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin Exchange. I already got one. So you deny all accusations by the prosecution? Both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey and that you masterminded the Assassin Exchange. I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. However, that's a fallacy, which I alone am in a position to forswear. Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony just given by the accused to be untrue. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? A desire to uncover the truth. Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty. From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can't be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. Yeah, Strongheart! That goes out to you! So it's always my intention to work with my client in pursuit of the truth. I want you to remember what you just said. Enough dilatory chatter. Counsel for the defense, proceed to cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you've conceived. The contradiction you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony. I know where it is myself. He really fucking said that. What? Where is it? No common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson? Maybe this, where you're... Could it possibly be... Oh, look! We got Gregson. We got... John Wilson. And look at this! Clint Van Siegs, his brother! Strange!
Objection!
Dumbass. What is this? An autopsy report. Wait, this is 10 years old. From the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Siegs. What? My brother's autopsy report. I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth. It's not Van Siegs. What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel? This, the autopsy report of the professor's final victim, is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant. Not that accursed name again, the professor. I've personally researched all of the court's records relating to that case. I know that at the time, autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's souls. And for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clint Van Siegs, it was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead. Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain conclusive proof from the procedure.
And it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible on the document.
As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Impact was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind. Okay, but what was it? Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes, and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Van Siegs here to avenge his brother's senseless death, with a marvelous victory in court. A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true. What? Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? If the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death. It's outrageous. And now, 10 years later, for some reason the secret has been threatened and needs protecting. Which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? By someone in power in Japan and in Britain, using the two killers recruited for the assassin exchange. "10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore to myself that I'd prove it. Which is why I had to come to Britain. Whatever the cost." You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponese's tenacity of purpose here. However, he who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer. Come on, Kazuma! You know this won't wash! You're claiming your father was misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago. You must see that without evidence, that's nothing more than wild accusation. Yes, bestie! Make him show evidence! Yes! As it happens, I have evidence. Yes! Let's fucking go! What? No, not what. Just yes! Let's go! As the court is heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. Is it the will? Oh, that would be fucking sick. I went with him on the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seishiro Jigoku. My true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth. What truth? The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what he had already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in that autopsy 10 years ago. What? Secret? He knew nothing of any secret. While I waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my clan's illustrious sword, Karuma, before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood what my true motive was. Right, I see. You're that Asogi's young lad, are you? What? Gonna cut me down with that thing? Is that it? That will very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth, that's all. Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. I still believe your father was a professor, there's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick. So, you admit it then. The evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated. It was for the good of the country. Anyway, I was just following orders. Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak. I'm not saying another word. Even if your life depends on it. That's right. Even then. So that's when the tip of the sword broke. Oh, Kazuma-sama! If the results of Clint Van Ziek's autopsy were fabricated, then the investigating officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man. The man leading the case for the prosecution, Barak Van Zieks. Yeah, no, he doesn't know. In other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins. Exactly, and as was established earlier, it has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be that of the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Barak Van Zieks. Now listen to your words. I'm about to fucking rock his fucking world.
Objection!
Kasuma Sogi. What? But you've just told the court. Are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for that trial 10 years ago? How can they be so close yet so far? I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission. In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper. Yes, let's fucking go! Let's go! Yes! What? Lord Van Zieks? Ryunosuke, you know this. Come on. Use your brain a little bit. He gave no such orders. I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities. To one. Yes, yes, yes. If Lord Van Six isn't the one behind all this, then yes, there is only one other person who could have done something like that. So you have indeed thought of it.
I believe I know who it is too.
You? I just had a feeling this name was going to come up. This name? True identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is... Are we really gonna do this? Are we really gonna do this? I'm gonna be so upset if it's wrong. Please, it can only be him. Like, he was supposed to be the fucking... It has to. Right, and... The man leading the case for the prosecution. It wasn't Van Zieks at first. Originally, Lord Strongheart was gonna do that himself.
Take that!
The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy results is the Lord Chief Justice himself, Lord Mail Strongheart. Strongheart. Yes, it's true that 10 years ago the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court, but he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zieks, had been killed. I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in the British judicial history. Sir, you're like a toddler trying to keep a secret. You wanna tell us about your family dog too? Huh? I'm surprised he hasn't already fucking just given us lines about him just reminiscing about his like fucking family dog and how it was like a fucking huge ass dog. Very powerful, but oh so cute and cuddly. Like, come on. That seems like something he would do. Well, Lord Van Zieks, 10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords to allow my brother's corpse to be examined, all the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you. I spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial. It can only have been a higher, powerful, influential, controlling, time-sensitive person. Strong heart. That's really how he is. Someone high up, and no one even thought to mention him. Just like, huh, that's kind of funny. Like, just even as a fucking joke. Like, I would just see it as a joke and be like, yeah, like, if it's not you, like, who else is it? Someone who's high up, like, what fucking Strongheart? Don't be fucking ridiculous and just watch him fucking sweat. That would be so funny. Please. But I see now. I was very much mistaken. It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. And the same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jikoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey. Not only that, you're also the professor. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you. The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. It reminds me of that John Mulaney bit where he explained that his mother was a lawyer, but the kind that would just throw out any wild accusation and see if it sticks. Ah, yeah. It doesn't warrant a response. A formulaic accusal, don't be absurd. The defense's claims are utter nonsense, a wild fantasy at best. You're not going to defend yourself? You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Clint van Ziek's autopsy. That's utterly untrue.
Objection!
Objection! But I heard it from Gregson's own lips! He admitted to it! And where is your evidence? What? Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand. Ah, fuck, where is Maya when we need her? Ah, yeah, that's right, not born. You mean to say... What should be a fucking spirit channeler in the fucking... in the... not audience, what's it called? Ah, whatever. I forget how the system works in your little backwater country. But in the courts of the British Empire, without evidence, there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything. Gallery, thank you. Just watch there be a fucking spirit channeler, that would be so funny. Following Inspector Gregson's murder in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago, is there? But that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange. This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was concluded a decade ago. The accusal brought by the prosecution and the defense is categorically denied. I take it there are no objections? Oh, there are objections, alright. Kazuma. He's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now? Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what happened all those years ago? If only there was someone who could testify about Clint van Ziek's autopsy. There is someone! There is someone! Oh, there is someone! He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks. Even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. Mikotoba, yes! And Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope.
Objection!
Actually, there is one person. One person who could still testify about that autopsy. Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left. Who, Ryunosuke? Who? Tell me. Kazuma, Please, this trial can't end. Not yet. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. The person the defense would like to call to the stand to testify about the autopsy of Lord Clint van Zieks is...
Take that!
Heaven help us. Another Japanese. Don't be ridiculous. I have had everyone involved. I mean, they are dead. Fucking toddler. An expert in forensic medicine, my lord. Professor Jujin Mikotoba. 16 years ago, he came to London with Seishiro Jiguku in Genshin Impact as a visiting student. And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature. Oh, sweet little Iris.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it.
In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in the autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us. The defense's demand is denied.
Mikotoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. So the people fooled by its signature is a 10-year-old and Strongheart, a toddler. So, you know. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself. Prosecutor Asogi, let me refresh your memory as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange. I did, yes. So, present your evidence for those claims, and make your case complete. At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need witness testimony. The Professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. Are we gonna look through the fucking sword for, a testament? I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asogi, that you would appear to be possessed by spirit of your late homicidal father. Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Why would they even let someone who has been accused of crime to keep being the judge? Good question. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities. But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again. By which you mean me? Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asogi, you will be remanded following these proceedings, willingly, I trust, since you gave your word. This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Asogi. That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Who said that? Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once. Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mayor Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage. Is it really? And why would that be? You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it? Full truth, sir, has already been uncovered. It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors? It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices. A door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. The auditors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion on court proceedings. Silence! That's right, the judge has absolute authority here. Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end. But will that really do? I sense dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed. Is there a single person here present who can honestly say the same? What's... The trial should go on! Summon the witness! That's right, we need to clear this up before that young Japanese fellow is remanded. Something. My lord, you assured those present that you would uncover the whole truth here. Vindicate yourself of this outlandish something. I couldn't read that. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very foundation of British law. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Testify. Testify.
Well, my lord, you hear the voice of British justice, I take it. I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence.
The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
A recess won't be necessary, my lord. Kotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak.
I'm slightly ashamed to admit that I heard them chant testicle. How did you hear that?
I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact.
Professor Mikotoba is here in this courthouse. Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you?
My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely.
I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know. Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, okay, I understand that it has the same amount of syllables. But testicle and testify clearly have very different fucking... very different sounds. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes?
I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you.
Absolutely.
It's still in my pocket. She sends her regards, and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please.
Oh, of course. In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand. So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom. Ha 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 ha, and confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. I'm tired and my audio processing is never great to begin with. You know what? It's fine. Hold on. I just want to know how long it is. Okay, it's rather long. But I don't think I'll finish it today. I'll leave the last part for Sunday. I think that's a good idea. So, wow. Cliffhanger. Yeah, I am mean like that. But yeah. My god. I like this case, but I also don't like it because of all of the dumb discrepancies that they don't even mention. Like the things that just don't make sense. Like how the fucking board with very steady feet somehow managed to tip over from a door being slammed open. A door that would like at most just have like covered the fucking legs and therefore have stopped the door from fucking falling over. The magical boat, yeah. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, cliffhangers are there. Yeah. My god. But yeah, the boats don't make any sense, man. My god. I'm just thinking of the fucking boats. I'm thinking of the boats again. I mean, okay, let's assume it was another boat. It's still not fucking possible. There is no way you can leave from Dover on one day and get to Dunkirk in that same day, back during when this takes place, you know? Which is like the end of the 1800s, pretty much. Let's just say like 1880s or something, 1880s, 1890s, something like that. Boats weren't that fast at that time. So that's a pretty huge discrepancy. Yeah, I can relate to having trouble processing audio. Seriously, there are so many times people are saying like the fucking simplest sentence, but because they're not saying what I kind of expect them to say, I can't really grasp it. So it takes me like several times to understand what they were actually saying, even though it's just something really simple. I don't even have a fucking example, but it can be literally anything. If it just is not what I'm expecting to hear, I can't hear it. So yeah, I am also very much a subtitles on kind of gal. But yeah, I'll continue this on Sunday. I'll continue and I'll end this actually on Sunday. But I end up asking them to repeat it several times and in the end just laugh and hope it was not a question, right? And it's even worse when someone has like just a dialect or like an accent or something. It's awful. I'm just like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, Actually, it reminds me of when I went to Japan, and after having stayed at a friend's place for a few days with another friend of mine, we were gonna go back to Tokyo, and we were waiting for the bus, I think at a bus stop, and there was this old man who came up to us and started talking to us because he saw me, and he was like, I can't really tell if you're Japanese or not, but you have blue eyes. But like, I couldn't understand a fucking word he said. Granted, this was kind of like out in the countryside, and also he was old. And when you get those two together and you mix it with Japanese, it's just, everything is just, it's just a blur. I couldn't hear a fucking word he said, but my friend could. So luckily, she had a pleasant conversation with him. I just sat there trying to listen on and not being able to understand a single word he was saying. Man. Like, I'm not expecting these games to be like 100% accurate by any means. Of course not. But I wanted to at least make a little bit of sense, you know? The boats. I can't stop thinking about the fucking boats. It's so annoying. Anyways, like I said, I'll be back on Sunday. So until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah. Goodbye. Good night. Farewell. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for coming to my stream. Bye-bye.